The Transhuman Code was introduced at Davos earlier this year, where we had the opportunity, Carlos, to bring together a number of influential individuals who are really shaping the interaction and relationship between technology and humanity. In Palm Beach, just a month ago, you and I had the opportunity to spend time together under the theme of the impact of technology on corporate America. And here we are in San Francisco, beautiful San Francisco today, where we've had the opportunity to engage with corporations that we think can really play a key role in the development of the Transhuman Code.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the strategy we design is that Davos launched the agenda of the Transhuman Code. We got endorsed by the, I will call the best minds in the world now in the areas of blockchain, artificial intelligence, IoT, M2M. And so there was really was a consensus in Davos, right? And this doesn't happen all the time. I mean, Davos is not the place where you get consensus. And we got a consensus that the Transhuman Code needs to be put on the agenda of technology companies around the world, so they can embed that concept of protecting the humanity and whatever we're going to do in technology. So here we are at the epicenter of technology in the world. This is where all the innovation is coming. Silicon Valley is a dream name anywhere in the world. But as we realize, they can learn a lot from the Transhuman Code. So what we are doing is actually engaging now enterprises, not only minds and brilliant people, but we're also engaging enterprises, IT leaders, startups, innovation labs, universities, people that they are really on the front end of the innovation on transhuman code-related technologies. And this is what is becoming a very interesting exercise, because as we are roadshowing around the world, and soon we're going to be in London next week, and after that we're going to be in China, as we're going to be
Canada, New York.
In New York. And the model that we are doing is use the Transhuman Code platform. Actually, in China, we're going to be with the World Economic Forum in China, and this is the annual meeting now. They call it the Summer Davos.
Yes.
So we will be doing a Transhuman Code edition as well, in order to bring Chinese companies as well, because China is #1 investor in artificial intelligence, and China is becoming a major player in the fourth industrial revolution technologies. So yeah, so we are really excited to be here. We already have a very interesting meeting, and we would like to engage with many companies as possible. I mean, this is something that will allow us maybe by the end of the year or beginning next year also to be reflected on this book project that we have that is going to be also announced in London, right?
So what's really interesting, and you and I have been on this journey for about 18 months now since it was first conceived, that there was a need to be able to share with the world as a whole about the importance of how humanity and technology coexist. And our thoughts have been evolving through this process, but look at the pace at which it's developing now since we began in Davos to actually engage individuals whose relationships with corporations then began to take an interest in what we're doing, and now I don't know how you feel, but some days it's a little bit overwhelming. There's so much of a contribution being offered to us.
But the big difference here is that we are all learning. You and I, we are learning because we are getting exposed. But the code is learning because this is an artificial intelligence play. So everything you throw into the Transhuman Code is being analyzed, is being recorded, is being artificial intelligence process, and we're going to get results that will be unexpected results. We don't even know what this code is going to tell us, and that's what is exciting. For instance, the book that we're going to be printing very soon will be the first ever smart book connected to the code. The book will have a chip, as we are designing. That chip has a digital identity. That digital identity certifies the book. The content of the book will be aligned to the content which is on the AI platform that we are developing. And readers of the book can participate with their own knowledge and interpretation of the book into the platform back again. So this is a continuous, perpetual learning process where we are not imposing our ideas, but we are collecting ideas from the internet. And I think we're going to get very interesting results, and we can again in Davos 2019, coming with concrete results. And I am sure it's going to be inspirational results, because the way the entire philosophy of the Transhuman Code has been designed is really to protect humanity, the human at the center of gravity, right? And I don't know if you realize, but many, even big companies, are now talking about humanity. Humanity has become, in 2017, a very interesting password. Everybody talks about humanity and that we need to be more human in technology. That is the fruit of our cooperation in Davos.
And so what's evolved for us as a core premise that whilst it's important that individuals and technology cohabitate responsibly, I think what we've learned, and I hesitate to say discovered, but what we've come to conclude is that really the greatest technology of all is the human being.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I will say, that's this is the new thinking paradigm, that we are always talking about enhancing the human being, projecting the human being into clouds, taking your brain and put it on cloud. But basically that destroys the human being, denaturalizes the human being. What we are saying is the contrary. We are saying the best technology ever being invented is the human technology. I mean, our bodies, the way we think, the way we regenerate ourselves every second, the way our heart pumps tons of blood, the way your veins have kilometers of infrastructure. And we have to learn from that. I mean, that invention, which was the human itself, can be extrapolated into extracting that code, and that we call code because there is a code, into the machines of the future. If we will learn how those machines can assist the human without replacing them, without making them inhuman and not something that you will recognize as a human, I think that will be a very interesting outcome of the exercise. Plus, the Transhuman Code has another dimension, which is very interesting, is the inclusive dimension. Means everybody can participate, right? We are not restricting only geeks or academicians. I mean, this is anybody, even a young kid can participate into the exercise. So it's a collaborative, inclusive exercise, collecting the ingenuity and creativity of billions of people into the platform.
So, you know, one of the most inspirational pieces of work that I've ever read was Quantum Health, which was written by Deepak Chopra, and he truly was one of the visionaries of our health of the future,
yeah.
and his deconstruction of really what we are and what we can be from a molecular standpoint, yeah. I found to be quite inspirational. I was equally inspired by the relationship that we've been able to establish with Soul Machines and IBM Watson.
Yep.
We had the opportunity to be able to bring Shantanu Agarwal from IBM Watson and Greg Cross from Soul Machines to Davos, and they rightfully they created a great stir in being able to present the world's first digital person. And what I found very inspiring about Soul Machines was really at the heart of their envisioning and development was to actually create AI that would help people as opposed to replace people. And this was perhaps one of the turning points for me when I began to realize that perhaps the threat, and even as it's been stated by some notable technology leaders, that machines will take over the world. Yeah. I became less concerned about the negative impact and much more encouraged about the positive opportunities.
Exactly, because you're changing your perception, and I think that's there's a lot of hype about AI will replace human and all this negative perception of what technology is all about. The way we are designing the Transhuman Code platform, because it's a technology play behind all that, it's like an airport. I mean, an airport facilitates the landing on any plane from whatever country comes, yes. From whatever colors they have, whatever pilots they select, whatever language they speak. The airport uniform the entire environment and create a compatibility. So when you land in an airport, you can also land in all the other airports. So Transhuman Code is a airport of knowledge, of interoperability between this new economy which is emerging ahead of us, where our artificial intelligence algorithms are going to be predominant everywhere. But you need a platform. You need a somewhere where you can interact. I mean, you cannot just let thousands of uncompatible structures being interoperable without no conformity around. So being able to bring all that in a platform effect is what it's all about in Transhuman Code. So we are providing actually a source code of the idea is to make it open. The AI is open to anyone to download. They can develop applications on the top of that AI platform. They can develop their own code that can improve the platform itself. Like you improve Wikipedia content, here you will be improving the code itself. The code is a ever-expanding code that will get more and more powerful as we move forward.
So you and I were both flattered when a publisher said, yes, we'd love to publish this book.
Yeah.
But the project has evolved a little bit since that, because I think what we've learned is that there are wonderfully wise people that we've come to know and meet who really want to contribute to this on an ongoing basis. But there are so many people that we haven't met yet. So by creating this open source, by sharing our code and allowing it to evolve as technology does, this becomes a really valuable open source offering. You know, I'm here in San Francisco is one of my favorite organizations called the Khan Academy.
Yeah.
And the Khan Academy is an equalizer, I think, without comparison, in so much as they allow children, literally children and adults all over the world, to have access to the teaching necessary to learn the myriad subjects that exist today.
Yeah.
And I think in large part we're engaging in the development of a platform that's going to allow people to learn regardless of where they live, regardless of their income status, regardless of their occupational choices.
And be protagonists, because if you create one of the failures of technology is that at the beginning they all are non-evil and we're going to be there for helping you guys, but at the end of the day they become so big and there are so many commercial interests that they exclude everybody else, so they become like a closed gated platforms. The beauty of the Transhuman code is that it's collaborative effort. So we are letting any developer, any programmer, any AI scientist, any data scientist to come into us and embed into the code their components, their findings. So it's a 6 billion people code potential, and it's not only people that they know how to program. It can be people that they have special emotions, they have developed special beliefs, they have historical traditions, languages. So we want to enrich the code with the human nature. You know, humanity has to be in the code, and for that, the code should be able to detect everything that humans do. You know, when we travel around the world, we always remember the colors we see or the food we taste, and then they are different. So that sensation needs to be embedded in that code as well. So that's the idea, is learning what humanity is all about. So the code is becoming very smart and very intelligent. And the code the Transhuman code is a human exercise. It's created by humans.
So we're here in San Francisco and Silicon Valley for 4 days. This is the gathering of cybersecurity experts from around the world, which is why you're here. It's fascinating to be able to have conversations with individuals and leadership of organizations that really looked first at the commercial applications of what they were doing, but to see their eyes light up when they get an opportunity to talk about the greater good that they can do. So we had a great conversation with Rod Beckstrom today, who's truly one of the legendary pioneers of cybersecurity and former head of ICON and perhaps one of the most powerful individuals in the internet.
President of the internet.
And he's really enthusiastic about the opportunity to be able to do more good.
No, so imagine in the next 5 years what's going to happen. I mean, RSA here in San Francisco is the mecca of the cybersecurity world, and they have been coming here for years and meet each other. But this is cybersecurity only. I mean, this is only one component of the entire spectrum of technology. Imagine a Transhuman Code event that will be universal event, both from the internet, but also physically located in different cities around the world, broadcasted by holograms and speakers being talking all over the world at the same time. So whatever happens in one city, it is projected through hologram into conference facility in thousands of other cities, and where humanity will be able to every year discuss what are the major concerns for humanity and define those concerns identify them very clearly, so we can develop code and take solutions towards solving that specific problem. And once the problem is solved, redistribute it back again into the system. So this is where I think transhuman code could be totally revolutionary, because it is a knowledge platform that collects knowledge, but also distribute knowledge as fast as it's collected. So we don't monopolize. We don't want to sell data,
Yes,
or sell
exactly.
personal data of users, or do a sneaky thing just to get money by selling things that we don't own. This is a truly...
Or advertising.
Or advertising. I mean, people will eventually be able to advertise if they wish, but it will never be the blood of the system. The blood of the system is the knowledge of humans, and that we'll learn from it. And that will be also an educational tool, which is essential, because I am getting called by all universities around the world, say, wow, what is this transhuman code? We want to teach our students about what are the implications on transhuman code in education, in future jobs, what is going to be the jobs of the future. So those are the things. Then we cannot obviously go around the world, traveling around the world. We would like our holograms to travel, and digital assistants to travel.
But you don't let that secret out of the bag yet. I think we're going to surprise people with that when we materialize that. Yes.
Yeah, the transhuman code assistance. Yeah, absolutely.
So next week we'll be in London, which is exciting. We'll be at the CNBC studio, where we're leading a dialogue amongst corporate leaders and finance industry leaders about the future and the impact of technology as a whole. Greg Cross is going to be there with us from Soul Machines.
And one thing I would like to say, and I would like to invite Silicon Valley in particular, is that people, that they are developing software, that they're developing AI algorithms, then they are developing digital assistants, companies, and they are looking for money to expand that, to talk to us, because what we want to build is an ecosystem that is all inclusive and can be expanded to the rest of the world. The beauty of the transhuman code, as I say, is the airport. So if you develop your plane, we will make sure that it can land anywhere in the world. So that's an invitation, and a very, very serious invitation to involve Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley needs, from my experience, in coming to Silicon Valley for over 30 years, needs a new vision for the future. The Silicon Valley that was built here is not necessarily the Silicon Valley that is required for the future. So technologies like the transhuman code, artificial intelligence, the integration of all technologies could also give to Silicon Valley a new duty towards solving the major problems in the world. And we need them, because this is where the innovation is, right?
Right. And we'll be able to transport them and have them materialize along with us.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's it.
Carlos, great to be here. It's been an exciting week. I'm looking forward to being in the I hesitate to say the European epicenter of governance and finance in London next week, and then on the road for as far forward as we can see.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great.
It's great again.
Thanks.
Thanks.